Well, Fight Fan, I did not know that about Dooku Kim. And once again, you're showing your knowledge is more extensive than mine. I mean, I freely admit, and I point to the NWA as the wrestling model. I lived through boxing magazines, and life was like that, guys. I mean, people wonder, is the news manipulating us now? I assure you, it is, right? Like, print media used to be able to manipulate people when there wasn't really access to information, and that's how Jim Crockett kept the NWA competing with the WWF for so long. It was really a promotion with very little money compared to Vince and all that, but they were able to do that, and that's where my lack of that kind of knowledge, like you're talking about, comes from. I'm sure you were in Vegas at the time, but let's take a step back from that, Fight Fan. 15-round fights were so grueling that even fighters like Boom Boom Mancini, who we loved, right? I remember his fights with Arguello, and even fighters like him would essentially have to take rounds off. Why? Because there's no way the body can go that long. And that's what Jose Sulaiman, Mauricio's father, was saying about the pacing. Look, no human being can push themselves that long. So what ends up happening is it becomes this. It's like one of those. They're not marathons. They're like the ultrathons, like 150 miles instead of 26, right? And in fighting, is that the most exciting thing? Probably not. Now, we like it as fans. Why? Because the fighters get very vulnerable, right? The more fatigue you get, the more vulnerable you get. But is that really what we want to see? I don't know about that. I mean, I get it. It's exciting. Suddenly there's a 13-round from knockout, and Tommy Hearns goes through the ropes, and Ray Leonard's the fighter of a generation, but it's dangerous for the fighter getting knocked out. I mean, we've seen what Tommy Hearns looks like in his old age, right? We see Muhammad Ali. Is that part of it? I think it might be. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but I would rather I would rather encourage fighters to fight hard in a shorter amount of time and get more action out of it and keep them both safe. That's just the way I feel about it. I think that's what Jose was saying. And by the way, Fight Fan, because I grew up on the magazines, I was like everybody else. Like, I thought, Suleiman's out of his mind. Why'd they take 15-round fights from us? This is horrible. I remember my hero, Larry Holmes, going 15 rounds a million times. But if you really watch the Holmes era, was it that exciting? Or was it that Holmes had this ability to pace himself as sort of a boxer, puncher guy, and then the fat heavyweights of the 80s would lose steam, and then Holmes would be able to knock him out? I mean, honestly, I don't think it was that great when you really think about it. But what was fun? The Mike Tyson era, right? People can't forget it. Like, 30 seconds, he's done. And then people invent things in their own mind. Like, I'm sure you know Orlin Norris. Orlin Norris was built like Mike Tyson, but a really sharp boxer. And then everybody thought, well, Mike Tyson can box too. Well, I assure you, Mike Tyson really can't, right? He's a destroyer. That's who he is in his soul and his heart and all of his technique and whatnot. But yeah, anyway, Fight Fan. Yeah, love talking the game with you, man. Just my opinion against yours. Nobody's right or wrong. We don't know. When we get upstairs, a big guy will tell us. Everybody, read my book, Warrior of the Light.